Well, at the end of my playing career, I actually didn't know it was the end of my playing career. I just happened to be in the right bar at the right time when CBS were looking for somebody who could go down the ground. How did you get into it?
A couple years ago, in 2015, I'd had a conversation with Joe Ogilvy, who got pulled into doing some U.S. Open duties, and I was asking him about his week, and he said some very positive things about it. The next week, I'm playing in Scott Verplank's Pro-Am, and Steve Sands was the MC of the event, and so as Joe kind of got my wheels turning a little bit, and I had struggled the last couple years on the golf course, and I grabbed Steve Sands and said, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" He said, "Sure." And so that turned to 2 hours and a few beers later, and now my wheels really got turning. And so I was able to get a hold of Tommy Roy, and he lives in Jacksonville. I'm in Aspen, so we both flew to DFW Airport, Dallas, and we never left the airport. We got a conference room there, and we talked for about 3 hours, and then went our separate ways. And a few weeks later, I came to a playoff event that NBC was covering, and just spent a couple days behind the scenes and kind of learning what everything looks like. And that morphed into 5 events during 2016 as I was still playing a few. And then I finished at the Wyndham Championship in 2016.
In Greensboro?
In Greensboro. I'd missed the cut. And I remember driving to the airport thinking, I think this may be my last tour event, at least for some period of time. And I remember, calling Amanda as I'm boarding my flight, and I told her, she's like, "Wait, what?" Because it's something you don't really think about. I mean, I went into those last few events that summer thinking, okay, this is the week. That's the kind of attitude you have to have.
Right.
And so when I got done there, I just kind of thought, you know what? I enjoyed the few events that I did, and for TV, and I thought, I think this is what I want to do. And so came home that fall, and really decided to go full time into broadcasting, and because I didn't feel like I could do both and do either of them very well.
Yeah, that's difficult.
The golf hadn't been very well for a while, and so I decided to go all in, and 12 events this past year. I'll do 12 events again next year, in a few different roles, and I really enjoy it. It's a great team, other than yourself.
Yes.
To work with, but to get to know what goes on, behind the scenes, and the support that goes on for the people you hear on air. It's been a great experience for me, and fun to be able to stay in touch with the game.
Yes.
And yet, not grind over it like I was when I was playing.
That's exactly what I enjoy about it. And Tom, you've done a little bit yourself. Mm-hmm. You ever consider doing more?
Well, I think there's a lot of positive things about broadcasting.
Well, because I can say to both of you now, Johnny's not going to do this forever.
Yeah.
And you're going to sit at 18, you need to be a major champion. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, the ability to tell people what you know and to communicate what you want to communicate. I think that's the beauty of even just being here tonight, or speaking, or broadcasting, is you can tell people what you want them to know. You have a message that you want to give, and so when I watch other sports and listen to Chris Collinsworth talk, or Troy Aikman talk, or these guys who have been there, done that, and listen to what they know, that to me is a great way to go. It's very interesting to the viewer to hear the inner workings of somebody's mind. When you listen to Justin Leonard speak, or listen to you speak, and in your own different ways and your styles, telling what you know. I think it's awesome. But to me, the whole thing about a team, the one thing I do really like when I observe from afar, and even up close, is to see the team that's formed in a broadcasting group. That there's a team that does it together, and it's a well-oiled machine, and it's everybody has to do their job and do their part, and that teamwork, that team effort is appealing.
It is. It's the one difference, between playing golf for a living and talking about it for a living. Well, there's a number of differences. One of which is it's a lot easier talking about it. That's for sure. But there is that team aspect, and like any team, there's usually someone that says something, and everybody else says, "What?" And those are the hard bits to navigate. You think, what, does he know we're on television?
The pregnant pause, and then when you hear it, like, wait, nobody's saying anything.
Or you hear a little.
No, that never happens.
No, never.
Yeah. But answering the question why, I think that's what I enjoy most about listening to people who are good, is they tell you why. I mean, I can see for myself what just happened, but listening to why it might have happened.
Well, I love explaining on a Friday afternoon, a guy trying to make a cut, and you figure out that he's missed 4 cuts in a row, and he's right. Like, what's riding on this? Why is he grinding? Well, this is why he's grinding. Or, you get down to Sunday afternoon, and you cover a guy that Ryan Armour was trying to win his first event at age 42. What this means to him. It may not change his life, but it certainly changed his perspective in quite a few different ways. And to play that many events, and all of a sudden now he's a winner on the PGA Tour, something that so few people in the game of golf have been able to accomplish. I love trying to help the audience understand what that means.
One of the things that I found difficult was, having so many friends out there, going from playing with them to talking about them and having to be critical of them. Do you find that tough? Or do you just not care about them?
It is tough. No, I still care because, they're your access. Players and caddies.
Yeah.
We go out before rounds and on Wednesday, and that's your source of information. And if the players and caddies won't talk to you, now you got to make something up, which usually doesn't go over very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I spent 23 years, with this very grim and sour-looking face. I was enjoying it, but in not giving my opinion to anybody, because I thought, what do I have? I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. And now all of a sudden I've got to, show that I have a personality and show that I have an opinion and be critical when it's necessary. And I think there's a way, the good ones have a way of being critical in a loving sort of way. Like, there's a way to, there's even words that I will completely stay away from because I feel like they're just too negative or harsh. But if a guy, in the heat of the moment, hits a poor shot, you got to call it like it is. And that's a balance that I'm getting better at, and I'm still trying to find.
But players are usually pretty good at taking criticism. Golfers, they know when they've screwed up.
Fair. I think people want to be treated fairly. What little I've done, I remember being critical of Charlie Howell, a decision that he made in the match play where he had just been given a gift of a hole. He was 2 down and looking to go 3, and the guy 3-putted from 6 feet and gave him the hole. Then the very next hole, Charlie went for a par 4 and off the tee, a drivable, and knocked it in the water and gave the hole right back. And so, you think about a situation like that, and and I thought that the risk was so great. He had just gotten a gift. Put that gift in your pocket and move forward, and don't give it back right away. That momentum is everything. And so I think players understand, like, what, that was it could have gone either way, that decision. It didn't work out for me. And, so being critical of the decision, understanding why they did it. I said, I know why he did this, but I think it was the wrong time to be so aggressive. And I think players just want to have that kind of fairness, kind of play out both sides of the coin and say, I come down on this side. I think you made a mistake.
Yeah.